What's going on, guys? We're doing another episode of Modern Dating. I got two guests here, one reoccurring guest and one new guest. Introduce yourself.
Oh, yes. I'm Des. Nice to see y'all again. Since I've been here, I became a brand ambassador for Barbella Worldwide. It's a cosmetic makeup brand, and you can use my code SPARKLE2023 to get 20% off your purchase.
And our new guest.
Just Blaze, aka Barber Boy, aka Eyebrow King.
And what do you do for work?
I am a barber.
You're a barber?
Yes, I cut hair at Diamond Cuts.
At Diamond Cuts Barbershop in Geneva?
324 West North Street.
Okay. So, getting into some questions now. So, as a woman, do you think that at the end of time you would be more happy with being alone and having a lump sum of money, or being surrounded by a family?
What is like the money in relation to the other part of the question, though? Like, am I broke with the family? Am I stable with the family? I feel like the two didn't really weigh out.
I feel like the women nowadays, they're like chasing a bag and being like promiscuous and not like settling down with a guy and being serious, but they're just being opportunistic. So I feel like they're like chasing bags more nowadays than they were, say, like 50 years ago.
You think women are working more now than they were back in the day?
No, like they're like trying to be like independent, be on their own, be independent women.
I think people have adapted to their
How do you feel about that?
A lot of women have had no choice but to work harder because they didn't have a man in their life to assist them with anything. So I think people adapted to their surroundings.
Okay. So, Blaze, would you ever settle down with an independent woman?
Indeed.
And why is that?
It's always nice to have somebody that has their own. I'm pretty sure somewhere down the line, if they can do for themselves, they can do for others as well. You know, that whole, your significant other should match you, you know? So if I go hard, I feel like you should go just as hard too.
Okay.
So we both have our own, both come together and make something happen.
Okay.
So as a driven person, you want a driven person, right?
Indeed.
Damn, I'm trying to find a question that fucking relates to this, but I have nothing that relates to this.
What about you? Because like in the last podcast, you were saying like you were going to be a driven person, but you didn't want a driven person.
No, I feel like I want someone who's going to always push me and like drive to like push me and drive to like push themselves too up the chain, but also I feel like they should stop at a certain point and be like, all right, I've hit my limit. This is where I should stop, but keep on pushing their like partner. That's what like I would look for in a woman. You know what I'm saying?
Could you give me a scenario?
All right, so say like we both are working in like fast food, and then somehow we get like promotions and stuff and move up in like our status.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like at a certain point the female should like stop because the male should have a higher status in the relationship, being the like dominant one in the relationship. I feel like the female, if she has like higher status, then she's gonna be like the like bossier one, or like control more.
Okay, so as you guys rank up, right? So the bills probably started out at 50-50, I'm assuming, when y'all got together and we're at the same level.
Right.
So as you rank up, do you take a higher percentage of the bills?
Right. I feel like as a man, you definitely should if you want that relationship to last, especially nowadays, because nowadays a woman's gonna date up, not down, in most cases.
True. I feel sometimes that they forget the common goal. And I feel like sometimes they want the man to do everything. He becomes very like a dependent, in which males, as in men, are only unconditionally loved under the fact that they can provide.
Yep.
So if you're not a provider, what are you good for?
Exactly. See, and I feel like also like nowadays, women are born with their value. You know, they can hold eggs and they're fertile, but they also have to learn how to nurture and provide for like kids too. And I feel like that's slowly like falling off too.
Indeed.
So that's more of a problem. But you're doing good. You have 2 kids. You're doing good.
Your
Yeah,
cousins, yeah.
yeah, I know. Well, yeah, that's my cousin Des. So, but yeah, so you have 2 kids and you're doing good by them. But do you feel as if a kid is raised better under a mother's household or a father's household?
It's always situational though, because like, yeah, I'm a good mom, and I got 2 different baby dads. My first one, I feel like she would do better with out of his care, just because of our past and stuff. But my second, he's a great dad, and I think our son is equally good in both of our hands. We just didn't work out, so we split.
What do you think happened there?
With what?
Why didn't you work out
Oh,
in either one of them?
well, the first one, my daughter was a surprise baby, and I was in a relationship with her dad. So after I found out I was pregnant, we had decided to stay together and try to be a family. But after my daughter was born, it felt like I had 2 kids instead of 1, and he didn't take the responsibilities that a dad does, working, taking care of the house, whatever. So then I basically had to step up and take 2 roles, and I decided that it'd be easier just to knock off the dead weight instead of dragging him with me. And he wasn't driven. He had no goals. You know what I'm saying? Whereas my second, we were in a relationship, we were in love, and then we had our baby, and he got comfortable, and I fell out of love because he wasn't doing the things that he did in the beginning of the relationship, and I gave him multiple chances to fix that, but yeah, he just, some people don't really have this, their love languages don't align. Particularly, I had physical touches for me, and he just wasn't raised like that, so it was hard for him, and it was forcing for him to have to do that. So it was just,
Okay. I think you should find some better men. That one right there is a better one.
You're also single, so I think you should find other
Yeah,
women. Just put that out there. I think we're all.
It's
I
okay.
think it all goes to the
It's
type
okay
that you
for
go
me
after.
to be single right now. For you to be well, you already have kids, so you kind of reached that goal of having kids. But Blaze, do you have any kids?
I do not have any kids.
Okay, so since you have no kids, would you ever settle down with a woman that does have kids?
She's got to have a whole lot of money.
A whole lot of money?
I already did that before. I had 2 past relationships with females that had kids, pre-made families. I'm not with the shit no more. It didn't work out. I ain't gonna keep going back that route. I feel like I need to be with somebody as equal as me that doesn't have any kids. So we can actually sit there and build, because obviously when you're with somebody that has kids, they have to take care of them. That takes a lot of time away from you in your relationship.
Yep.
So then there's other things that go along with that too. So, you got the females with the retard baby daddies. You got the females with the baby mothers that have baby dads that are just in and out of the prison system, And somewhere in between, the kids are the ones in the end that they're affected the most. So let's say you got a good guy at home and he's taking care of business, but then as soon as he goes with the father, the sperm donor, he picks up these blunt behaviors and comes back home and has to be reprimanded. Yep. So in that fashion, the person that's at home that's trying to be the man tries to step in, and then it's not his place because that's not his child, and that brings in room of error for the relationship, because the female is always, I don't want to say coddle, but I do feel to a certain degree nowadays females
definitely are coddled.
Yeah.
I can't relate. I was not coddled. But being in a relationship with a single mom is not for the weak. I can say that. It's definitely a lot more work.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have to agree with Blaze, too. I feel like I can't really build on someone else's family when I don't have my own to build on type shit. And I feel like the only time it's acceptable for a guy to settle down with a girl that has kids is if he has kids. So that's just my take.
What if he can't have kids?
If you
There's
can't-
other things you can do.
other things you
Adoption.
Exactly.
So you feel like a man without kids shouldn't be with a woman with kids?
No.
Right. I feel like you should go out,
Everybody
find a
has
woman,
schemas of
and
how
start
things
a
should be.
fresh story, a fresh chapter of your life.
I feel like it
Build
would be
with
better
someone.
for society
Yeah.
if people would, be with people that are more, they have things that more in common with them.
Well, like I said, some people can't have kids, so if they like someone and they want to be with them,
Yeah, but that's situational. That can be
Everything is
that can be everything's situational, but in a sense, if somebody cannot have kids, there's other routes you can go down. But that also goes back to both of you have to come to a common agreement in between each other, mutual. Because if not, then like I said, everybody has schemas of how things should be. How you were raised, how I was raised versus how you were raised.
Yep.
Because I was raised in a household, my parents, between both of us, there's 4 of us. And I'm the baby. And my mother, quote unquote, used to say I'm the head honcho because she worked. And my father was, he retired. But when mama made food, who was the first one being served? My father. So I grew up watching them play both roles, And sometimes the woman's role does get, hectic. Or sometimes they feel misvalued or underappreciated, because there's a lot of things they do that goes overlooked. So I do feel to a certain degree it's about appreciation.
yeah.
What would you classify yourself as? Like red pill or
pill.
blue pill? Red pill? Okay.
Try to work on myself because I feel like everybody should work on themselves. Sometimes people, I think it's like the perspectives that they have. Sometimes people can't see the stuff they're doing. They need somebody to tell them and show them.
Yeah, they're not
Yep.
self-aware.
Yeah, they're not self-aware. And then there's people that are. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't want to say like an out-of-body experience. You got to sit back and look at yourself and go from there. But sometimes you have to deal with somebody that is like that to understand that. To even comprehend,
Yeah.
Because I do feel a lot of things nowadays is lack of comprehension,
Okay.
and people always have these views of how society is because the way our minds are being shaped to view society. And it all goes back to like social media too.
Yeah.
With these strong women. There's nothing wrong with a strong woman. But nowadays you got these females that they do so much for themselves and let the males know I don't need a man for nothing. It's not I need a man, I want a man have an attitude. And it's like, where's there any room for you to even have a man?
Right.
Where's the feminine? There's no more of that anymore.
Right.
But to a certain degree, situations, circumstances,
Situational,
environments, they're forced to be like that. They're forced to be strong, because they have to adapt to their environment, situation, whatever. If there was more men out there that wasn't, having kids and taking off or being promiscuous, like these promiscuous women, if there was more understanding and communication, I feel like, we could nip that in the bud a little bit.
Okay. Okay. So.
That reminds me of what I wanted to talk about.
Go
So I was
ahead.
actually listening to a podcast. I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and it was saying like how a lot of people do 50-50 roles, in a relationship. But like women were saying, why do 50-50 in a relationship when I can do 50-50 with a roommate? And I know that they're always going to pay their 50% of the rent. They're always going to pick up after themselves. And basically, like they can be with a partner who does 50-50, or they could be with someone who they, had to pick up behind and clean up after and take care of and whatnot.
It goes back
So
to
that
like
kinda-
your preference too, because there's women out there that will love a man to provide, in which in that situation he's supposed to be loved unconditionally, right?
All right.
But then you got the woman that just want a provider and don't want to love her. You got females that would love a man to do all these things, but what is she doing in return?
Right. Exactly. That's the biggest question. What are these women bringing to the table
What
that
do they
make
bring
them
to the table
unique?
in return, other than what's in between their legs?
Right. Because
Because there's
Emily got
females-
that down the block. Sarah got that down the block.
I feel like a lot of like the roles that women play just get swept under the rug though. A lot of the things like
They
there's
don't get enough credit.
you ever seen those memes where it's like this dude he like throws his clothes on the floor. He's like, man, there's somehow they magically end up clean in my drawer the next day, or leaving a dish in the sink or on the table or whatever.
The roles.
The behind the scenes stuff. I think a lot of particularly women do that isn't like seen, so it just gets swept under. I think a woman do a lot of things if they're doing shit right, situational. But
It's definitely not underappreciated at all because if you're doing all those things right, you would have a ring on your finger. That's like that's your goal. Like you're trying to get
that also goes back
a
to
ring.
the type that you go after. You cannot
is
expect
true.
that from somebody who doesn't have those type of morals and values, was raised that way. You can't expect it from a man that is out there dealing with different type of women and then bumps into that type of woman. Like, he's used to dogging them out. And then come across the one that's not used to being dogged out, there's an issue there now.
Okay.
Because some guys weren't raised a certain way, to appreciate or to, have respect for their woman.
Right.
And a lot of behaviors are learned.
Yep.
Because you got these kids nowadays using the B word very loosely.
Yeah.
And back when I was growing up, those are fighting words. I never once heard my father call my mom the B word. They used to go at it in Spanish, but never the B word. So I think it's like a lack of respect that people have for each other nowadays.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, what about the way you were raised? Like,
yeah, it's
you have had both your parents. I had one of my parents, and you had neither of your parents.
Fuck you talking about? I had neither of my parents. I had 3 parents actually.
Well, mostly your grandma and your grandpa.
Yeah,
like, raised
but
you,
yeah,
primarily.
And my dad, somewhat. Yeah.
Yeah, but like you lived with them type shit. Like they basically raised you. Could we agree on that?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, so we were all 3 raised differently.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think that reflected your view on your ideal relationship?
I've seen how certain guys, just how they approach females, how they deal with them, how they talk to them, to the way they, interact with each other. And I think it's like this with the social media shit once again, and then the music and all that, and what we're watching. Our kids are learning this stuff, It goes back to like how they're being treated. Some guys got it fucked up where there's a difference between a woman, a lady, and a bitch.
True.
And you can't treat all ladies like a bitch. You can treat a bitch like a woman, but she's gonna show you why she's a bitch. And you can treat a lady, vice versa. It goes both ways.
Yeah.
It's like you got to learn how to treat certain types accordingly. And I think what gets us messed up is that the type that we go after, because everybody has these schemas of how they think should be. And predominantly with the females, because females live in a very fantasy world of things how they should be with relationship, like a fairy tale. And I think reality bites them in the ass in the end, because it's like, once again, you're going after this dude who don't want to work, who has nothing to show for it. None of his past relationships worked out. Why do you think it don't work out with you? And it's like, you're saying to yourself, am I asking for too much? In this situation, you're asking too much from somebody that can't provide it. So it's like asking a rock, bring me water, instead of going to the lake and getting it yourself.
I feel like Blaze didn't answer my question. Do you feel that?
Ask it again.
Okay, Blaze. How do you think being raised by your mom and dad affected how you view an ideal relationship?
My ideal relationship is that I saw both parents come together and there wasn't no 50-50. My dad used to do more. My mom did a lot more. They built. You know what I'm saying? My parents owned 2 houses growing up. Mm-hmm. It wasn't just one. I wasn't raised in, I should say, low-income housing like some of my friends and family members. You know what I'm saying? I was raised in a house with 2 parents that worked, that were married, that maintained their marriage even though my father had kids outside of wedlock. You see what I'm saying? And like the females back in the day, they don't make them like that no more. Because the females back in the day knew their place as a woman. They didn't get out of hand. It's the females nowadays.
Is it because of the laws that were in place also? Or?
I don't think it got nothing to do
It
with
has
laws. I
nothing
think
with
it
laws.
has to do
Okay.
with just the way the
Social
times
media.
are. I think it has to deal with the way the times are, you know? And I feel like women don't get a lot of credit for being women.
Okay, so once
The way I
again,
view is that a
What?
man should do the most,
the most. Okay.
a woman should do the most,
But never
but a
outdo the
woman
man.
should never try to outshine her partner.
Exactly.
And a man should never disrespect his female in front of people.
Mm-hmm.
There's a way to correct people,
And
but in private,
the female
those are things you
should
should build on.
the female should never talk bad about the partner either, because that just shows like it reflects the relationship behind closed doors. So
Yeah, like you see your kings and queens.
right.
If you notice, even in the animal kingdom, the lioness is behind to see what's coming. Just like the king, the woman is there to see what he can't. Kind of like the third eye. And I think it goes back to woman was made from man, from the side, from the rib, to be equal. But I think those roles got switched up and misconstrued through the years. I feel a woman should be as much as a woman as much as a man should be a man.
Right.
I feel like there should be mutual respect for each other in a lot of areas. Let me reprimand, allow me to reprimand, allow me to, if we could go back, not in public, but in private and correct each other, because there's things that I may look at and say a woman shouldn't do that. And in a way, because you was raised different, you think different because what you saw, what you experienced. So I think if we can put both of our, and have meaningful dialogue, then we can come up with a solution.
Okay. So that's what you saw your parents doing as you were growing up then?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So as I was growing up, my grandparents, they were always married, they had a family, but my grandma, she always told me, don't ever get too serious with just one girl, which I thought was kind of weird because, she's my grandma, she was like 60 years old. So it's like married too.
Hello.
So it's like with her telling me that, I could kind of see now like why she was saying that nowadays, but also it's like as a woman, you shouldn't be saying those kinds of things either because I don't know, it just reflects your morals too.
So what do you look for in a relationship because of what you've seen?
Well, I want a woman who's going to be, playing her roles as a woman and a wife and not try to outplay me like Blaze said. Because if she can outplay me, go for the next caliber man. You don't need me. So that's that. Anything else that
I don't
you
know. I
had?
don't really like. I don't really like your answers. I don't know. I don't think that's what I was looking for.
You give us what your answer would be then.
Well, I was raised by a single father. My mom left when I was 2, so that affected what I want in a relationship. But ways it affected it probably. I seen that my dad had 100% of the financial burden, and of 2 kids, and now that I have 2 kids, I'm kind of in a similar situation. So I would want a partner that would help me financially provide at the bare minimum. But because I'm already established and what I got going on, I would take care of my house and the kids and stuff, And I feel like the person who plays their roles should do whatever they're best at. Some men aren't good at, going out and getting money. Some are better with kids and staying in the house and doing stuff like that, So I think that's how it affected it. Whoever's better at what they're doing should do that. It shouldn't be like I guess my dad had to play both roles and I'm playing both roles. So I feel like I do
Right.
feel like it's equal.
You're saying that it's situational, right? But I feel like in most situations when it does play out as the woman is out there and making money and the man staying home taking care of kids, it doesn't really last.
You
That
literally,
shoes divorce rates up.
bro, your
The
aunt
divorce
Shona,
rates are
and
50%.
you have an aunt who isn't working
You
and her
can't
husband isn't. and
really
they've
make
been in
an
relationship for years.
exception for the stats and statistics. You know what I'm saying?
You're talking majority.
Right, the majority.
I mean, are we talking about United States or like worldwide?
the United States for first world country type shit?
I know a woman initiate divorces before men, but I don't know.
I feel like people move too fast and don't get to know each other well enough. Because nowadays, you date, but you're not even dating. You guys are doing things in a relationship.
Who's about to say fucking?
You know what I'm saying? You're doing everything that's in a relationship that a relationship consists of.
Yeah.
But there's no label.
Right.
It's because, nowadays everybody has that mentality. If you're not playing, then you're getting played.
Yeah.
So I feel like,
Do you feel as if it's smarter to get married or just have a title?
people should get to know each other very well before they even go to the next level.
Right.
I mean, it depends what you're doing. If it's beneficial to get married, I would say yes. Because, like, if you're in the military, you get more money for being married. So there's that. If...
You know what I think?
What?
I think people, for some reason, think that if they get married, it's magically supposed to be better.
They think that with kids,
Because,
too.
once again, it's a label.
Right. Do they think by having someone's baby, they'll wipe them up, too? That ain't the case.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some cases, too, where it's like, they're just messing around. It's one night stand. They have a baby, and then they're forced to get married.
Situationships.
Even in this country. It's crazy. It's just...
That's their principles and their cultures and shit like that, though.
Yeah, because, back in the day, you get somebody pregnant, the father come forward and tell you, you're going to marry my daughter.
I was a forced marriage baby.
Because back in the day, you guys got to know each other, you guys dated, and then got married and had kids. Mm. Nowadays, it's all backwards. Now we're fucking. Now we're dating. Now you're my boyfriend. And next thing you know, you're married with a kid. You got all these issues because you didn't sit there and figure it out one of another.
Right.
You didn't even take the time. But you didn't waste no time making that baby. So
right.
I think it's like everything is sex-driven nowadays because of social media.
Yep.
Everybody has the scheme of,
flaunting their
I
bodies.
need a bad bitch.
Yep.
The dime come a dozen. Because the girl that look bad might not know how to cook. Might not even know how to clean herself the right way. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
Versus the mediocre chick that they say is a 5 or 6 that everybody overlooks, that has the qualities of a wife, that holds the house down, that has her own, that knows how to cook, knows how to clean. But she might not have all the looks, but she got all the qualities. So it's like, I think people look for certain things. And it's like, once again, it's a certain type they go after. And then it's, people think everything that glitters gold, and when you find out it ain't. What are you left with? Kids, responsibilities, Yep. And at the end of the day, the kids get affected by it the most.
Okay.
By the two worlds you just created. I think it goes back to religion, culture, because I'm a firm believer in like the supreme mathematics and all that. Nation of Islam and stuff like that, I believe in some of the Bible.
Okay.
I believe in, liveth before Adam and Eve, It's like a human being is a work of art. Evolution. We still haven't got it right.
Okay. Do you think it's possible to change a hoe to a housewife? With that being said, then?
Honestly, I think the true way to go about that is spiritually, because that isn't something to be played with. Those are actual spirits that a person possesses. And I don't know if you understand what soul ties are, but you go around messing around with 10 girls, and 5 out of them 10 girls are wicked because they don't.
What do you mean wicked?
Wicked as
like witchcraft?
It could be witchcraft. It can be no morals, no self-respect. It could be
STs.
You ever fucked a witch before?
Oh yes.
You fucked a witch?
Oh yeah.
You fucked a witch before, D?
I've never fucked a witch.
They didn't know she was a witch till after.
How'd you find out that she was a witch? Did she leave something like shit at your crib or
No,
something?
little things. You know, I'm Puerto Rican, so I know in certain Latino households, when you go in, they got saints under the door.
Yep.
They, candles on certain days. They be having certain things they do. And these are things that I grew up watching because I had two grandmothers that were witches, and then my godmother's a witch. So at some point in time, when I wasn't acting right, they started telling me certain things that I overlooked. So I was pretty much entertaining what she was doing, which was she was doing it to me. You know what I'm saying? And I had to correct it.
Okay.
I had to go see my godmother and have her fix it because those things are real. I don't know if you ever heard it, but they say never eat a girl's spaghetti sauce when she's on her period.
I hope you wouldn't. That just sounds.
Definitely.
Yo.
Would you ever let a man eat you on your period?
I have before.
You're disgusting.
And you couldn't figure out why
They
you
wanted
leave
to.
the hell
They
alone,
wanted to. I begged
right?
them not to, and they wanted to do it. So
Yeah, because he got a lust
I've
spirit.
done. Listen,
He
you
has
want to
a
hear?
lust spirit.
I can't tell you that. I'll tell you a story a different time. But dudes are weird.
I don't really think it's dudes. I think it's the type of dudes that you deal
Right,
with.
it is definitely the type of dudes that you deal with.
So I had a podcast idea. Do you have a story of being petty after a breakup?
Petty?
Yeah.
Hold up, let's lead into that better because I can edit this really
Can you
quick.
define
Okay.
petty for me?
He's not going with it, so you might as well just keep going with it.
Okay. Define petty.
For me,
Being extra, doing something, going out of your way to be malicious towards someone, I guess.
I wouldn't say malicious,
Okay.
but I've always been the type that I can really ignore the shit out of you. So I think I wasn't doing it intentional. I was doing it more for my better well-being.
Mm-hmm.
And that really pissed them the fuck off. And it got to the point where they started sending people to me. And eventually I had to talk to this person. And then in life, that's what I had to learn. Sometimes when you try to cut things off, it just don't sever the line there,
Mm-hmm.
So, no, I don't want to say I did anything petty. I try to go about it the right way, like just leave them alone, go do me. And maybe certain things I might have done may have been perceived as petty, as in taking them off my social media, cutting certain people off that they're attached to, or walk around with a pretty girl that's my friend and everybody's going to think we're doing something. That's always the case, but that right there was my number one go-to.
Post picture on social media. They have
Oh,
this slide
man. Should have heard the gossip that comes with that.
up. I know. What about you, D? You ever done something petty after a breakup?
The petty after breakup, I feel like I've never done anything petty after a breakup. I think it's always good to be the mature one and just let things be how they are and just move on. Why are you doing extra shit?
I guess it depends how you end your breakup, I guess. You had some good breakups?
I've had good ones, bad ones, interesting ones. I've had all of them, but I've always been, the bigger person in the end.
That's good.
How about you?
I've had some petty moments when I was a teenager. My first boyfriend.
What's the pettiest thing that you've ever done then?
Probably my first breakup. I was like 17, 18. We moved in together, and we had an apartment. And I don't even remember. So long ago. I think probably I moved all of my shit out in like the hour that we broke up. I had asked him to see if we could talk out our issue. He refused. And I just called all my friends up and we just moved all of my shit out of the apartment in like an hour. And I think he had like gone to his friend's house or something. So he came back like at the end when I was moving everything. And I bought most of the shit in their house. Like I said, I provided for most of my relationships for the bigger percentage. So I took like the shower curtain, toilet paper, all the food that I bought, literally everything. Like, yeah. So I think that was probably the pettiest. But I mean, it was like due to me. I bought it and you did some fuck shit, so I left.
Okay.
So for the better of my well-being, I just took all my shit and did.
Okay, so I got a couple more questions.
All right.
I got a question.
Huh.
So, when you're dealing with somebody or in a relationship and you feel like you're lacking some certain type of attention, certain females do certain things to try and get that certain type of attention. Now, some females will voice it, some will do certain things like, oh, I'm going out with my friends, da da da. And it's like, in the end, when the individual, the man, doesn't fall for it or entertains it or gives that type of energy that the person had wanted, what is that? Is that a form of control?
I got a little confused by what you said. You get what you said? Do you think?
Can you restate that?
In other words,
Like, what were you asking again, actually? 'Cause
Okay.
I didn't really get the question.
certain females, when they lack a certain type of attention,
They're usually ugly when they lack attention. That's all I'm saying.
with their partner, with the guy they're dealing with, the guy they're with, whatever, and they do certain things to try and get that certain attention, reaction,
Oh,
If you're talking about like a
Like
woman,
toxic?
are you saying like
is that considered petty or toxic or controlling?
like she's going out of her way to try
Try and
and
get a
like,
certain reaction out of him,
to give him the
and
bug?
he doesn't give him not even
that's
has nothing
both
to do
petty
with the butt.
and toxic. I don't think a man should have to deal with that.
Thank you.
You know, a man's doing what he's doing. He's going to our work, having a hard day. You know, getting the money to pay the bills, and then he's got to come home to a headache. A woman trying to challenge him.
I mean, both ways.
It doesn't really sound, fun.
Yeah, I don't know. I like to keep clear communication. Like, if
The
I feel
communication
it's
is the
like,
key.
if I feel a type of way, I'm gonna say I feel a type of way. So, I think it's toxic and petty to do something for a reaction when you can just sit there and say how you feel.
Because those are things that I've seen and dealt with.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Me too.
Try to get the opposite one to react, jealous, whatever it may be. You know.
I've been used like as a pawn in a scenario like that with a couple, so I feel you. Like my best friend, actually, she was going through a breakup and he had cheated on her, and she wanted some space to decide if she was going to stay with him or not. So she stayed with me for a while. And basically I was just used as a pawn to get some space until she decided she wanted to get back together with him, and then that space made him work harder for her.
Well, didn't she tell you that?
What?
She wanted some space to see if she was gonna get back together with him or not. Didn't she tell you that?
Initially, she said she wanted space.
So if she told you that, how are you a pawn?
She said she needed
She
space
told
to get
you.
away from him to decide if she was going
To decide.
But she
Then-
needed to see the bigger picture.
Yes, she wanted to see if it was worth, if he was going to try.
So what are you mad about?
save.
She made her decision.
I didn't say I was mad, but I was upset that
Upset. What are
she
you upset
initially
about?
came under the,
She used you or utilized you.
I would say, maybe utilized as a more tactical response, but she initially came under the circumstance saying that she needed to decide what she wanted to do. While she was there, she decided that she no longer wanted to be with him because of X, Y, and Z. And then, so the whole time I'm like, all right, I'll help you get over him. She actually said she wanted to do like this revenge thing, so I helped her with it because she said this would be the last thing and it will help me sever ties. So I helped her with her little plan to get some attention, you know what I'm
A
saying?
little conspiracy.
Yes, and then that was done, and then after that was done, she ended up getting back together with him without telling me. So that's where I feel like I was used, because I was under the intention that she was leaving him after this thing was done, and then this thing happened, and she got back together with him. So
Does that make her less of a woman now?
because she lied.
Because she lied and used and conspired.
I
See, if this
feel
was a
like-
court case, she'd be under the jail cell.
I feel like everything I do is with pure intention, pure heart. I would help anybody. I just wish
You
I
believe
knew.
in the universe.
Yes, I'm in people's lives for certain moments, for certain reasons. But I feel like she could have kept clear communication with me as soon as she changed her mind that she wanted to get back together.
All right, hold on. Fuck all that shit.
Okay,
What advice would you tell a guy that is having a hard time trying to pull girls? Just
Pull girls.
an average dude, yeah.
First of all, I guess, appearance. Clean yourself up. Brush your fucking teeth. Don't have some stink ass breath. Brush your fucking hair. Do something with it. Put some clean clothes on. Clean shoes. Put some cologne on. Just be overall pure fresh, you know what I'm saying? And then walk with confidence. And
Self-care.
yeah, self-care,
Okay.
self-confidence are the two big things. And then, I mean, what type of girl are you looking for? You want to find someone who aligns with what you want. So if you like to go to the gym, go to the gym and work out and potentially talk to people there, you know.
Okay. What advice would you tell a girl that is having a hard time getting attention from just an average guy?
I think
An average girl.
Self-care. Definitely self-care. Guys notice.
Okay.
Self-value. Have you ever heard of the lock and key?
No. What's the lock and key?
It's like, okay. A key that opens up many locks is a master key. But a lock that opens up to every key is worthless.
Oh, for sure,
So
yeah.
in essence, value yourself. Because the more you be promiscuous, the less a man is going to value you. The more you hold it down, the more respect he's going to have for you. But that goes both ways. What I'm saying in perspective is a guy that's not out there doing that type of stuff anyway.
Yeah, but I feel like at the end of the day, a woman is always, more satisfied with a guy who has more experience.
Yeah,
but
experience.
Let me ask you this. So, a guy who's out there cheating, doing his own thing, and then comes home to his main thing, do you see any problems with that? Like, from a guy's side?
From a guy's side?
Because I feel like guys don't really cheat out of feelings and love, we just, it's just in the moment, we got to get that off, and then we're back to, our thing, so.
Honestly, because the way everybody's been shaped to believe, a guy that goes out there and have sex with 10 women, he's the man.
All right.
A woman goes out there and has sex with 10 men, she's a hoe.
Yep.
But
that's just,
if you really look at it, guys love the experienced female that gets labeled the hoe.
I don't know about that.
Guys love, when I say love, I mean they love having sex with that individual. But do they want that to be their wife?
No. Definitely. Yeah.
Experience.
Okay, yeah, I see what
Back
you're
to
saying.
experience.
So they'll get with the chick, but they're not gonna wife up the chick and take her seriously at the end of the day. Okay, yeah. All right. That being said, then, Des, do you feel like a promiscuous past affects your chance with a husband?
Depends what kind of husband you want, I guess. Some men do care about that, but a lot of men don't.
Okay.
It really depends on the type of woman you are. Like, if you're that worried about bodies, then that's one of the top things on your list that you're looking for. But if you're not that worried, then you're looking for someone that has all these other more beneficial factors than how many people slept with them.
Okay.
Like, for example, I got 2 kids, but I also got my own place, my own car. I got my own stuff going on, versus, like you said, getting with like a 19-year-old or something. They're just out of school, probably living with their parents. Yeah, they probably slept with less people, but they don't have as much experience, don't have as much.
Right. I feel like that's more fun though. Like you can take them and show them their experience. You break them in, I guess. Type deal. I don't know. As a guy, it's better.
Yeah, because guys love older women because they're more experienced.
He's talking about younger women.
It's vice versa, man. Young girls like older guys too.
Right.
You
yeah.
know? I don't know how it was for you, but in high school, there was always the one fine-ass chick that was fucking around with the dude that ain't even in high school no more. He's out there slanging and ganging and all type of stuff.
Yeah.
And those, when we're grown and we have kids and see that, it's like, yo, you're a pedophile,
Yep.
But the way people look at it is it's messed up, man. It's the way, everybody has been shaped to look at shit.
Okay.
It is fun because, me growing up, I had my experience with older women all the time. To me, older women always know what they want.
Yep.
But you do run into those older women that are promiscuous, that don't care, they've been handled and dealt and loved the wrong way. And it's like they turn into all their exes that did them dirty. And it's like you're not even dealing with a woman no more. You're dealing with a whole nigga. Because they say bitches are the new niggas. Let's be real.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You start seeing certain shit and it's like, yo, you acting just like a dude. These are the type of games that my boys be playing,
I feel like dudes be acting like women, though, to be honest with you.
The roles switched. They reversed.
Yeah, that's the problem. The rules have reversed so much that we're losing like focus of the main goal here in relationships. So
I think a lot of people are just looking for happiness in different ways. Honestly, they just.
I feel like you're right. Everybody should want to be happy, but I feel like
Even if it's a false.
people can love you, but sometimes not know how to love you the right way. Sometimes it's because they weren't shown how to do it. Situations, the way they was raised, their morals and values for female. You know.
I do believe that like anybody could be with anybody if they put enough effort in, though. You know, like if you just put unconditional effort into pleasing someone, you could basically be with anyone. That's another thing it said like about someone who couldn't get somebody or whatever. Like for a dude who couldn't catch a woman's attention.
what, like, advice for a guy?
Yeah.
What's the advice?
Do something different out of the ordinary. Like what I posted on my Snapchat this morning. Something.
Oh, you said something about if 25 dudes are hitting her up or something. You gotta send her $400 and tell her to be ready at 8 o'clock. Hell no.
Yeah.
You ain't sending her shit.
I feel like being a gentleman always gets you further.
You'd be surprised. Honestly, not all women are looking for gentlemen. Like
No,
this last year and a half, I decided to focus on me.
Yeah, but
zero
that goes
relationships.
back to that whole type. That goes back to the whole a man is only appreciated and valued and under the conditions he can provide.
Provide what?
Realistically, pay all your bills.
Not
Buy
all
the
women
food.
need that. Not all women need that.
Not all. But going back to what you said, no 50-50.
So if you
So
feel like
now what are you saying now? Would you rather have a 50-50 or a man that can provide? Don't tell me you would love both of them equally neither.
Because you really wouldn't. I know damn well
Tell me you would love them both equally.
you would definitely want a provider.
Okay, at this point in my life, now that I'm in my second year of school and I'm a little broke, you know what I'm saying? I'm pushing through with my side hustles. I would like to be in a relationship where a man provides more. However, I get out of school in less than a year. I'll be starting my business this year, and soon I'll be making my own money, which is also why I don't want to
so
get
you ain't
married.
gonna need a man, huh?
So exactly,
But
I
that
would
goes
You
back
don't
rather
need a
to
man, but
nowadays females
you're always
are
gonna need a
so
man at the end of the
manly.
day.
I
Where's
don't
the feminine
need a
now?
man.
Let's put
I
this
don't
situation out
need a
here.
man.
When you're in
Exactly.
trouble,
you don't need a man.
and you gotta
want a
call the
man,
cops.
but you're so masculine. Where's the feminine now?
You think I'm masculine? What makes me masculine?
The whole I don't
The
need a
independence.
man, the independence. It's cool to be like that, but let's be real. One of these days, you're gonna want a man.
when you get in
You're
trouble,
gonna need a
I'm
man.
not saying I don't want or
You're
you know what
gonna
I'm saying.
need
When you get in trouble-
it would be
Human being
nice
has
to have a
natural needs.
companion if they're matching.
hold up.
Hold
When you get in trouble and you're getting robbed or something bad's happening to you, and you call 911, are you gonna want a feminine female officer there or a masculine male officer to come and help you? Are you gonna want a man or a woman to come and help you?
Before I call the police.
Okay,
And-
no.
So are you gonna call?
If
your
you're in a
cousin- your female
situation,
cousin, or your male cousin is gonna come through busing, or the female cousin is gonna come through with a baton
Right.
so you can beat them with sticks. Beat sticks.
It
Come on.
makes you think I don't have a female cousin with that. Like, what you mean?
You're gonna call Amelia. You're gonna call him. You're gonna call him. You're gonna call him.
To be fair, I would probably call my cousin Amelia first.
I don't think you would do that. I think that
I know
you
you
would
wouldn't do
end up
that.
dead.
I'd
You would end up dead?
If
Yeah,
I
beat
got robbed
up.
in Geneva, first of all, I'd probably know who it is, and I would go to their fucking mom's house.
Okay, you would end
Because
up
a lot
dead,
of them
but
just live with their moms. But
if someone broke in your house and tried to get you or something,
if someone broke my house,
who are you calling?
I
A
would
man or a
handle it
woman?
the best that I could, bro. Like I've always had
A
to do
12-year-old
shit
boy
on my
could
own.
beat you
I
up,
would
Can I
do it
ask
on my
some-
own.
A 12-year-old boy
What you
could beat you up.
No, he couldn't, bro.
A 12-year-old boy
Have you ever had to deal
beat you up.
No, he
with
couldn't. I
somebody
couldn't, bitch.
stalking you?
Yes, I've had a couple stalkers in my life.
Had they ever showed up to your house looking at you in the window in the middle of the night?
One got into my house and watched me sleep all night.
That's a
What
true
was
story.
your situation with this person?
I never found out who it was, so I just found out that they had been watching me and ended up coming into my house when they knew I was like alone without my kids, no dog, whatever, and watched me sleep.
And your dog.
because I had a dog at the time, and when we broke up, my boyfriend took the dog, and then it wasn't my night with my kids, so they waited until I was home alone. Like,
So there's somebody
And
that
that's
knew
the
your
problem
schedule.
too with
yeah,
raising.
I had a very consistent schedule when I had my 9 to 5 job, so it was very easy.
It's the problem with being separated.
Now, in that situation, if you had a female there versus a male, how do you think that would have turned out?
I think it wouldn't have happened if there was anybody else in the house, period, male or woman.
Okay, now let me ask you that again, in another perspective.
Mm-hmm.
How would you feel? How would you think that situation would turn out if there was a male there?
We would have been sleeping. Like, they would have come in when
You don't think he would have took off? Oh shit, there's a dude here.
they took off anyways.
Versus a female. Of course he would have took. He was gonna take off regardless, but he sat there and watched you. I don't think he would have sat there and watched y'all. I think he would have sat there and watched you and the female.
If you woke up and screamed, what would have happened?
I probably would have woke up and beat the ass. What do you mean?
Do you think it was a man who was stalking you?
I do.
They would have beat your ass.
That'd be scary.
First of all, if they could beat my ass, they probably would have came during the day. Let's put that out there, okay?
No, I don't think he wanted to beat your ass.
Right. He probably
think he
didn't
was
want
aiming
to,
for
but if
something
he
else.
wanted to, he could have beaten you up.
Yeah.
Say,
What makes
because
you
there's no
say
man
that?
there.
Like, I can so defend myself. I don't need a man or a
That-
woman, or even the person creeping on me obviously came when I was vulnerable because they couldn't handle me when I was in my proper state. Like, what do you mean?
So you don't need a man entirely for anything?
Is there things that a man can do for me that I already do for myself that would make my life easier? Yes. Do I need them to do it? No, because I've been doing it a year and a half on my own. And yeah, it's tough, but I fucking get it done. Would a man make my life easier? Yes.
Or harder.
But am I willing to compromise my happiness for somebody else's? No. If I found someone that was 100% beneficial to me and treated me right, treated my kids right, and everything, then I would be in a relationship and all that stuff.
So realistically, and with your experience, because you had the ups and the downs on both ends of the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
You had a guy that piece of shit. You had a guy real good, but you still lacking something. So what is it that you lacked in those last two relationships that you're looking for to move forward in the next? Because sometimes females carry burdens from the last relationships, and it becomes an issue in the next.
Well, I wouldn't say an issue, but I learned what I don't want. Like, each relationship, I think, was a stepping stone to what I know that I don't want out of this relationship. And I know from my first relationship that I want someone to match me 50-50 because I was taking care of him financially 100%. So then I got that, but then it wasn't just the financial part, it was the affection.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that I need someone that's affectionate to me and willing to help me with bills. And I can basically take care of everything else as I did in that relationship.
Now, if this person isn't as affectionate as you like, but does a little more than the last, is that acceptable?
I have manifested my future husband. I have put it on paper exactly what I need, things that were negotiable and things that were not.
This sounds like a partnership.
Right.
Not
You
a
can't ever have a
relationship.
partnership in a
And in
relationship.
a sense, you're
There's
still
always a
compromising
ruler and someone
if you're
who's
negotiating.
serving.
I'm just manifesting what I want out of my future husband.
Well, I hope you have some
And
good
you are
luck
a
finding that
partner.
out of your future husband.
What'd you say?
I hope that you have good luck finding a partnership out of your future
Same
husband.
with you, bro.
Partner that has
because
relations,
I don't know how
that
the hell
was
you about to be
relationship.
40
Right.
with a 19-year-old. Shit. Blaze, what you think about him being 40 with a 19-year-old?
She obviously wanted him.
Okay. The thing about being older with a younger woman, not all guys can do it. I'm saying if you had money and you were established, you can do that. So
You can do
There's-
anything you set your mind to.
there's having
with enough
escorts.
knowledge.
You can have an escort.
Huh?
You can have an escort.
Yeah, there's men who feel the same way as you. They be like, I don't need a woman for shit. I want a
you
woman. I'll
honestly
go pay
don't.
one real quick.
Exactly.
Come over here and serve me.
Exactly.
You know,
they're
Because he has everything.
They can do
What
it.
can he want other than the hole in between your legs?
Exactly. I've already established, what I got going on.
Okay.
I adapted to my scenario, my situation. Some people, they go through their experiences, they learn from them.
Some people don't.
Exactly.
We both know mutual people who keep doing the same stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So what advice do you have for them?
Be self-aware.
protect yourself.
Yeah. Honestly, I think people are just not aware because they're so focused on the end goal. They don't focus on all the side stuff that happens on the way to that goal, and they don't think it affects them.
Okay. Do you have any more questions before we end this?
Oh, what about that one question I was going to ask? And then you were like, oh, wait till the end.
Apparently she got a spicy question, so we gotta hear it.
Oh, I was going to ask about breakups.
What about breakups?
Your best and your worst breakup.
My best, my worst breakup?
Yeah.
Like what? Like
How did it go?
my best, my worst breakup?
And why?
Gee.
How did y'all break up and why?
I gotta think about that one.
Okay.
Yeah, you
Go
gotta
ahead,
go to
please.
Blaze. You come back.
I
to
never
me.
had a best breakup
Okay.
because they both ended with well, the first one, my first girlfriend. No, my first real relationship, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Because my first girlfriend, I think I broke up with her. But my first real relationship, she already had a child. And I was with her, and she was playing games, and then wanted me to be with her when she found out she was pregnant. And I kind of felt bad. We ended up getting together, though, down the line. The baby father came over acting up because he found out I was with her. And I left the house because he was talking to the uncle. You know, the uncle was kind of putting him in his place because he wasn't even really there for the child. He wasn't really active. So I left and went home, and then she broke up with me. And I noticed that once a female feels like they have you the way they want you, they'll keep doing the same thing over and over again because in certain aspects, you're weak for them. So that really did something to me, you know. With the second relationship, it was beautiful until baby dad, you know. And eventually, I had to leave because she was a cheater.
Come and grab my phone for a
And
thumbnail.
that's all she wanted to do
I need a
was
thumbnail.
play those games.
Just take a picture of us talking.
So I turned the tables and gained my power back by leaving her. And it didn't just stop there neither, because it was like the toxic, the pettiness, not from my end, but from that end. And then I had to learn too, you need to be careful the type you're going after, because this girl had mental issues and wasn't on her meds. So it was like, no matter what I do, she's going to try and make me pay, you know?
Okay.
And it was a bad breakup because I remember the police got called when I tried to go over there, get my stuff. I wanted to leave off, like, yo, just give me my stuff. I don't want no problems, you know. She ended up spazzing the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? Foaming at the mouth, the whole nine, scissors in the air, talking about she gonna kill me. You know, police get called, the whole nine. Like, and it's like I was just trying to go over to avoid all of that to get my stuff and leave, and she couldn't make that happen. You know? So I never had a good breakup. And after that, I ain't never dated no Puerto Rican woman my color again.
What about you, D?
Shit. Okay. So I feel like my best breakup. So I'm still young. I'm only 20 years old. So I feel like my best one, my most smoothest one, had to be in like 8th grade. I was dating Stephanie actually. So shout out Stephanie.
Oh,
But
for real?
Yeah. we dated for like 3 days, and then we were like, nah, it's kind of weird. Like we're just friends. So we kept it as that, and we're still friends till today. So
Yeah.
Mutual respect.
yeah. Then I guess the most tough breakup I've gone through is my most recent one. But that was a little complicated because like I guess the problem was me in the beginning because I was texting other women and shit. But then in the end, she went and hung out with some dude and felt bad for it. Ended things, and I was like, all right. But that's about it for me.
Yeah.
How about you? What's your toughest and your easiest?
I actually witnessed some stuff with
Me? You think you witnessed my toughest breakup?
No, I'm not saying your toughest breakup, but I witnessed you go through some things.
Oh,
you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like, this
Yeah.
woman got arrested in her own house.
Oh, yeah, that did happen. That wasn't my toughest, though.
No, I'm not saying it was.
Yeah.
But I definitely saw some stuff.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine what was your toughest.
Yeah.
All right, well, we only got 7% left on the camera, so we got to continue with the
okay.
story and then end it off.
All right, so I think my toughest breakup would have been when I was 17, and I was dating this guy named Danny, and no, it was before that. My bad. I was dating this guy named John, and Danny's who I dated after him. But so I was dating this guy named John, and I was 17. He was like 20, older. I was in school. He ended up like convincing me to get out of school and like hanging out all day doing nothing was cool as fuck. So I stopped going to school and failed out of like senior year, but I went to summer school and passed.
Losers.
I know.
Yeah.
I know older men going for younger
No,
women.
you were a loser too doing that.
I was a loser at the time.
Yeah,
not
that
going
too.
to school, but I did pass. Anyways, so I was dating this guy named John. He was a drinker, and one night he was drinking, and I caught him like texting like girls from my class like to hang out. And we had been in a relationship for like a year at this point. And so he had passed out with his messenger for Facebook open, and I was just scrolling through. And so then after I seen these messages, and I found he cheated on me. So after I seen these messages, I had woke him up, and then from after he woke up, I was like, yo, like, what's going on?
Yo, pause.
You're done.
Damn, that was 7% in 2 seconds?
Now I can come back.
All right, ran into some issues. The camera died, so you can finish your story now.
All right, so it was my first boyfriend. We had been dating a year. At this point, we had moved into, like, the basement of my
Can you talk more in the mic, please?
Sorry. So after dating a year, we had moved into the basement of my uncle's house. So it was like a little apartment. And one night he got drunk and passed out. I went through his laptop, and I seen that he was messaging like hella girls in my class. And then I seen that he had actually messaged a girl about having sex with her. So
Wait, who was this?
His name was John.
Wait. He was your boyfriend?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so he was messaging this girl, Jazzy, and I seen that they had sex, and they were talking about it. So I knew that he like physically cheated on me. Yeah. And then so I woke him up, and I was like just basically pressing him about, you know, breaking up with me and shit. I was like, yo, like, what the fuck is this? And then he ends up like bugging out on me. He takes my phone. I had taken pictures of it, and he was like, you're lying, like that didn't happen. And he took my phone. I'm like showing him because he had started deleting everything on the laptop. So I was like, bitch, I got it on my phone right here. He takes my phone, chucks it at the wall. We're in a basement, so it's concrete, like this shit right here, and smashes my phone completely.
There's your evidence.
So then, while he was bugging out, like I had said I was going to call the cops, which I think is what made him also smash the phone. So then, at that point, I'm trying to get upstairs to where my uncle's at to call the police, and he starts, like, literally fighting me. He, like, threw me at this, like, table. There was, like, some glass on it, cut up my leg, and then he, like, choking me and shit, and he ended up, like, punching me, like, one time before I got upstairs. And then I got up there, and my uncle was knocked the fuck out, because it was, like, middle of the night, and he was like, I am not calling the police, like, what the fuck? So I ended up going down the street to my dad's house, called the police, they came, he got arrested, he apologized after he got out of jail, and I tried to give him another chance for
Of course.
a couple
Why?
months because he apologized and he was so in love with me, and
Or you
so
thought.
I had to give him another chance, and then we had restraining order on each other. Even though I had tried to drop the charges, the state picked it up because they seen the pictures and stuff, and were like,
Okay, so what's your best?
So toxic.
it was.
So petty.
But once
What's been your best breakup though?
best breakup would be with baby daddy number 2. He was pretty dope. After I found out that I wasn't in love, I basically told him, you know, like, I don't think.
How do you do that? How do you have a kid with somebody and be like, yeah, I just don't love you?
Yeah, did you like put Tina Turner on and was like, what's love got to do with it?
Oh my god, y'all sound like my dad. Basically, like, we were in love when I got pregnant, had my kid. Throughout the pregnancy, he stopped doing X, X, and X. I told him I need you to do this, this, and this, and he would
You
give,
wanted
like,
to touch you more.
more than that. More than that.
I'm just saying, touch it, affection.
It was mostly
feel.
affection, but it was, like, compliments, you know. It was just affection in general. Like,
So like coming in after work and grabbing a beer and smacking your ass and saying, hey, beautiful, wasn't enough?
No,
Okay.
especially when I'm sitting there.
I'm just saying.
Especially when I'm sitting there cooking homemade meals for you, lunch, breakfast, dinner, sending you to work with meals, taking care of the kids,
Paper
and
bag lunch and all that.
everything.
Egg salad sandwich.
More than that. More than that. But, and I don't even get like a thank you, this is good, nothing. I would never get a compliment on my food or nothing, which I think is what irritated me the most because I'd be fucked
Yeah,
on
you are
hand.
a phenomenal cook.
So I was getting butthurt about the food and stuff and the affection in general. So
Not butthurt.
when I was feeling some type of way, I really wanted to try to make it work because I did love him. And I told him I need this. He would do it for a little bit, stop doing it, do it for a little bit. And I'm like, you know what? This just isn't in your character. You're not built like that. Our love languages don't match. I think it's best we split up. And he agreed.
Not
And we
built like
mutually co-parented.
Hmm.
And that was my easiest breakup because he knew where I was coming from. He obviously
He was
could see
mature
that.
enough.
He seen it wasn't working out. We were both experienced the same experience. So
All right.
that was my best breakup.
Well, guys, if you made it all the way through the video, thanks for watching. It was a long video this time. But we're at 26 subs as of right now. I need you guys to like all my videos and subscribe too. Thank you.